Welcome to Candid Conversations with Dr. Kelsey. I'm Dr. Kelsey Changsing, physical therapist and owner of Anteater Physical Therapy and Performance. This bonus episode is a race or competition recap where I go over my experience and break down key takeaways from the event. Now let's get into today's conversation. So today I'm going to recap my 2026 CrossFit Open experience. I haven't really prepared too much, I don't really have an outline like I normally do for all my other episodes and even the High Rocks, my High Rocks race recap. So it's just going to be a little less structured than usual. So for some context, I've been doing CrossFit since 2012. So about 14-ish years. But this is my 12th CrossFit Open because I did skip last year because I was pretty freshly postpartum, so I didn't really want to pressure myself too much because I knew if I was going to sign up, then I was probably going to go push myself harder than I should. And I believe it was 2015 maybe. 2015 or 2016, I didn't sign up because at the time I was like, well, we're doing it's kind of like the age old, we're doing the exercises or the workouts anyway at the gym. So, what's the point of signing up? But I did kind of have some FOMO, obviously, since every single year since then, except for last year, obviously, I've signed up. It's just to kind of see where you're at on the leaderboard is kind of where I got the FOMO from. Also kind of comparing yourself to other people in the gym. But it was mostly just to see where I was at, where my fitness was at, stacked up to the rest of the world, I guess. And so I honestly debated signing up this year as well because I have been focusing a little bit more on other things. So obviously I had, I think 2 weeks before the Open started this year, I did my High Rocks race. So the couple months leading up to that, I was still kind of doing CrossFit, but not working too much on the more advanced CrossFit skills and not lifting as heavy. And before that, I had been focusing on triathlon training and even kind of right after the Open. So currently I'm focusing on triathlon training. So CrossFit has kind of been a little less of a priority for me in the last year or so. And so that's why I wasn't sure if I wanted to sign up for the Open. But the only reason that I did, to be honest, was one of my friends had actually broken her leg, and so a few months ago, and so she's cleared to kind of start going back to exercise, and she signed up. So I'm like, okay, well, if she signed up, then I guess I'll sign up. So I was kind of peer pressured to sign up. But anyway, so I signed up for the Open this year. Going into it, I didn't really have any expectations. So, and I feel like that helped to make me the most relaxed I've ever been about this Open. I wasn't super stressed out. I feel like for sure, I know I'm not going to make it to quarterfinals or semifinals. I already know that. Especially since I haven't really been focusing on CrossFit. But I feel like even in the past, I had pressure to kind of do well just to, maybe it's some of that competitiveness as well with some other members in the gym. Or old members or members at my old gyms that I used to go to. But I feel like recently, especially because I'm now focusing on other things, I had less pressure about that. And I already kind of know who at the gym will probably do better than me, which was kind of true before, but but you always hope, you're always oh, well, maybe this workout's more in my wheelhouse, so maybe I'll beat them type of thing. So but yeah, I was way less stressed out, or I had less pressure, or I had put less pressure on myself this year. Although I was doing a lot better than I thought I would after the second week. So I was like, oh, what if I accidentally make it to quarterfinals, even though I wasn't actually trying? But no, yeah, the third workout was not in my wheelhouse at all. So that crushed that thought. But the downside, I feel like, is that by the time we got to the third week, I was a little apathetic. And I'll go over a little bit what I mean by that when I get to the breakdown of the workouts and my performance. But overall, this year, a lot less relaxed. Definitely still super sore though. But honestly, I feel like I could have pushed myself a little bit more. I feel like I didn't push my that's kind of another downside of being more relaxed, is I feel like I didn't push myself as much as I would have normally. But in the end, I still had fun for the most part. Was able to hang out with people at the gym and do the workouts. So yeah. So I'm going to break down each of the workouts, what my score was, and kind of my thought process during the workouts. So week 1, the workout was 4-time 20 wall ball shots, and the wall balls were 14 pound with a 14-pound ball for women. So I'm just going to go over the workouts for the women individuals. So after the 20 wall balls, then you have 18 box jump overs, and then 30 wall balls, 18 box jump overs, 40 wall balls, and then 18 box step overs holding the ball, and then 66 wall balls, and then going back down. So 18 med ball box step overs, then 40 wall balls, 18 box jump overs, 30 wall balls, 18 box jump overs, and 20 wall balls. So there was a 12-minute time cap, and I think even among the games athletes, like very, very few people even finished the workout. And so the majority of people were going to get stuck around halfway. So during the 66 wall balls, and that's where I finished. So I got 192 reps. So I think that's 48 wall balls into the 66 wall ball shots. Yeah, so 48 wall balls into the 66 wall ball shots. So I had been hoping to make it to the box step overs on the way down, so get through the 66 wall balls. So initially when this workout was announced, I was like, oh great, because like I said, I had just done the High Rocks race 2 weeks before, and I was like, well, we did wall balls for that. But then I remembered, oh wait, the wall balls for High Rocks are like 8.8 pounds or whatever. So even during training, I just use a 10-pound ball. And so for the CrossFit workout, it's 14 pounds. But the day of, that muscle memory and stuff of using a 14-pound ball was still there. It wasn't too big of a difference. I mean, obviously it was noticeably heavier, but it wasn't like, oh no, this is going to be super heavy. The only thing I didn't take into account was how sore my legs were going to be. So that week, the Tuesday of that same week, there had the programmed workout had been rowing and back squats, and my legs were so sore from that. And even I was like, okay, hopefully by Friday they'll be less sore, but they were still so stiff by Friday. And I know, it sounds like I'm blaming it, but normally box jump overs are in my wheelhouse. I'm pretty tall, and I'm able to kind of get a good rhythm. So especially because you don't have to stand up all the way, so I'm able to kind of get into a good rhythm and jump and then step down on the other side. But even in the first round, my legs were already super stiff, and I wasn't able to do them unbroken. I had to take a few breaks of just kind of standing there and to shake out my legs. So I know that the workout from Tuesday definitely affected me on Friday. But I mean, it's annoying because, like I said, my goal had been to go past the 66 wall balls, but at the same time, I was like, whatever. I'm not going to repeat this workout again. So something I didn't mention before is after I think like after 2017 maybe, or 2016, I had a rule of never repeating any CrossFit Open workouts, because whatever year that was, I had repeated a workout, and I think I repeated 2 workouts that year. I don't know. It kind of muddles together, but there was one workout where it had 2 different scores. So it was like the burpee over dumbbell and like dumbbell thruster workout where you had to, yeah, I think it was that one. And then once you complete that, or something like that, and then once you complete that, that was kind of your buy-in. But when you completed that, it was also like your score 1. And after you completed that buy-in, then you were able to do like a max clean. And when I did that workout, I barely had enough time to do a clean. So, and I had severely underestimated how tired I would be. So the weight had been for the clean, like I could have gone heavier. So to try to increase my score, I was like, oh, I'll do it again, and then I'll do a heavier weight. Well, unfortunately, my first part score was slower, but then I was able to do the heavier weight. And so, but you couldn't separate the scores. You had to like submit them as a unit. And so then then I had to kind of like see, okay, which one would help me? But yeah, so that was dumb. And then I think there was another workout that I repeated to try to beat someone at the gym. But same thing. I think I beat my own score at least, but it was by, only by a few seconds or maybe a minute or something, but it still didn't beat the person I was trying to beat. So I was like, this was also dumb. So ever since then, I was like, my rule has been to never repeat a workout. The exception is if the workout is like really short. So there was, 2 years ago, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a workout with wall walks and snatches. And for that one, I did beat my score by quite a lot. I was able to get a lot more snatches in because I was a little bit faster on the wall walks. So, but it was like 6 minutes. So, so that's kind of my spiel on repeating workouts, especially again, I'm not trying to get to quarterfinals or whatever. So like, to me, it's not really worth it to repeat workouts, especially since like they take a lot out of me. Mostly because nowadays I'm not used to the volume of the workouts because I'm not doing CrossFit as often. So, but anyway, yeah, I knew I was not going to repeat this workout, and I didn't repeat any of the workouts. But yeah, so still, I mean, even though I didn't reach my goal, I was still like happy with where I was. But again, I feel like I could have gone. I feel like I could have met my goal if my legs hadn't been so stiff and sore. But it's hard to say if I could have pushed harder or not, because like my legs were just not happening, not having it. So yeah, that was week 1. Not too bad. Should have been in my wheelhouse with the wall balls and the wall balls, with the wall balls and the box jump overs and step overs, but it is what it is. So week 2. So the workout for that week. So the workout for week 2 started out with an 80-foot dumbbell overhead walking lunge. So you're going to be using a 35-pound dumbbell for all the weighted movements. And then after the walking lunge, 20 alternating dumbbell snatches, then 20 pull-ups, and then back to an 80-foot dumbbell overhead walking lunge, then 20 alternating dumbbell snatches, and then 20 chest to bar pull-ups, and then back to the lunge, and then the snatches, and then ending with 20 muscle ups. So this one had a 15-minute time cap, and for this week, actually, I debated whether I wanted to do scaled instead, because for sure I'm not, even if I get to the muscle ups, I wasn't close before, and especially now that I don't really, I I haven't been focusing on CrossFit. Definitely not close now. During the warm-up, I haven't really been doing as much pull-ups and stuff. I usually, if they show up in the workout, I've been opting for like a banded strict pull-up. So it took a little bit, but eventually my shoulders and my lats kind of warmed up, so that helped. And I also wasn't sure about the weight because I've also been like scaling weights during workouts, but 35 pounds wasn't too bad. As an aside, like I remember when dumbbells were first introduced into the Open, like 35 pounds seemed so heavy back then. And it's so crazy that even now, even though I haven't really been using 35-pound dumbbells during normal workouts, like it was so much more doable than like, I don't know how many years ago this was now. I mean, this was before 2018. So, but yeah, it's really crazy how much my baseline strength has improved, even though I don't do CrossFit as much. But anyway, yeah, so I debated if I wanted to do scaled or RX, and then one of the coaches kind of encouraged me to stay with RX because I could do everything, and like it wasn't like except for the muscle ups, like, but it wasn't like I couldn't do a lot, like it was going to be challenging. And so and I'm glad I did RX because I feel like it was terrible. Like at the end, I was just like rolling around, but I'm glad I did RX. I feel like if I had done scaled and I hadn't finished the entire workout, I would have been angry. Because yeah, if I'm going to do scaled, like, because everything's doable, especially scaled would have been relatively easy. So if I hadn't finished the workout, I would have been pretty mad at myself, and I probably would have tried to repeat it. So I would have broken my own rule. So, but yeah, initially the chest to bar pull-ups, I was like, a little iffy. But then again, like I mentioned, my shoulders and lats warmed up, so those were okay. So this workout wasn't too terrible. I was hoping to at least get through at least get to the muscle ups, so go through the lunges and then the third round of lunges and dumbbell snatches. I don't know if the bottleneck was the pull-ups or the chest to bar pull-ups. I knew chest to bar pull-ups, like I'm only going to be able to do one at a time. I've never been able to like string them together. But I feel like even with the pull-ups, like I didn't get a really good rhythm. Like I forgot even what sets that I did. And then I ended up having to like break them down. And I think I even ended up having to do singles like towards the end of the 20 pull-ups. And then chest to bar pull-ups, I don't know. I think it's like either the jumping or just like the kipping motion, because like, you know, it uses your abs. I got a little nauseous, I think. So yeah, I think I just didn't do the chest to bar pull-ups as quickly as I would have wanted. And I think I had to break up the snatches as well, because like I mentioned, 35 pounds is still doable, but it's not something I'm necessarily used to. So, I think if I was in like more of my quote unquote prime, I probably would have either been able to do the 20 unbroken or at least do 10 and 10. Actually, I think I did only break it up once. I don't even remember anymore. Maybe I broke it up twice. But so yeah, there's like, you know, those little things where like, you know, the breaks kind of add up. So my score was 91 reps. So I did make it through the chest to bar pull-ups, but I was only able to go 3 lengths. So 60 feet for the dumbbell overhead walking lunge. And actually, on like, I think I had like 10 seconds left before the time cap, and then like I was like, I think I can do one more length, like 20 more feet, because it was 4 lengths, and then each length like of 20 feet, and each length was 1 rep. And so that was the fastest lunge length that I did for the whole workout. And then because I think I had like 2 lunges left, and there was like 2 or 3 seconds left, and I was like, I better make it because I started it. But yeah, I got the last one in the nick of time. So, but yeah, again, didn't necessarily meet my goal, but still happy with how far I went, especially because I wasn't sure how my chest to bar pull-ups would be. But yeah, they ended up being pretty good for, again, not working on them too much. So yeah, pretty happy with my performance. Okay, so week 3. So this is when everything fell apart. Okay, so week 3, the workout was essentially like 3 sections, I'm going to describe it as, with increasing weight. So each section had 2 rounds of 12 burpees over the bar, 12 cleans, and then 12 burpees over the bar again, and then 12 thrusters. But then in each section, the weight increased. So the first section was like 2 rounds with a 65-pound bar, and then the next one was 2 rounds with 75-pound bar, and then the last one was 2 rounds with an 85-pound bar. So again, a 16-minute time cap. And again, the elites, I think not a lot of games athletes finished this if I remember correctly. And so I think for normal people, like, the goal was to try to reach the 3rd section or at least finish the first 2 sections. My goal was even less. Like, I was like, okay, if I do like, okay, first of all, I didn't even want to do this workout because, like I mentioned in the beginning, after the first 2 workouts, the first 2 weeks, even though I didn't do as well as I wanted to, like, I was still behind some of the other, like, some other ladies at the gym. So I was very pleasantly surprised to see that I think I was in the, like, close to the 70th percentile or something. So I was like, oh, like, if I do really well in the 3rd week, maybe I might squeak into like the 85th percentile. I don't know. That sounds crazy to think about it now, but but I don't know. I was in my head, I was like, maybe I have a chance. So I was like, okay, before this workout was announced, I was like thinking, what haven't they done yet for movements? We know that they're going to do some sort of thruster because every year there's thrusters, but also every year there's always like double unders, except for this year. So I was like, okay, if there's double unders, those are in my wheelhouse, and I usually do very well because a lot of people who are stronger than me don't have double unders. So I was like, okay, maybe there'll be double unders, and then I can do super well, and maybe I'll make it to quarterfinals on accident. But then this workout was announced, and burpees, not super in my wheelhouse. Although burpees over the bar, not too bad because, again, you don't have to stand up all the way. But I feel like I can usually have like a steady rhythm with burpees over the bar. Even with normal burpees, I can usually kind of get through them. I'm slow, but I can get through them. But thrusters, especially with a barbell, they kill me. Like, I don't know why dumbbell thrusters seem so much easier for me. Just the barbell thrusters are just, I don't know. I just struggle so much with them. I do not like them. Yeah. So when I saw this, I was like, I do not want to do this at all. And so my goal was to obviously get through the first section, so the 2 rounds with the 65-pound bar. I knew that would be doable, and especially so for me, like, even 65 pounds, so that's usually kind of the standard, quote unquote, for doing thrusters for reps for RX women. So anything heavier than that is considered more of like a heavier barbell for thrusters. And so I knew for sure 85 I would be only doing one at a time if I even reached that point. And 65 is already like, iffy for reps. And 75, like, I knew I would probably only be able to do a couple reps of thrusters at a time, depending on how tired I was by then. So my goal had been to get through the first section and then at least one round of the second section. So like in total rounds, like, halfway, try to get 3 rounds out of the 6. But man, during the whole workout, like during the whole 16 minutes, I was just like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to do it. And I mean, in the past, when we've had open workouts with thrusters, and there have definitely been workouts with both burpees and thrusters, but like, even though I hated them, like, I'm just like, I gotta get through it, like, try as hard as I can. But no, this one, I was just like, the whole time, like, there was no pep talk, like, at least, because one of the coaches was judging me, like, at least she was kind of giving me a pep talk, like, she was like, go, you can do it. But like, in my own head, I was just like, I don't want to do this, I don't like this, this workout sucks. And yeah, I got 128 reps. So I didn't even get to the 75-pound thruster. So 128 reps was just 8 burpees in after the cleans in the first round of that second section. So I completed the first section, and then I did 12 burpees over the bar, and then the 12 cleans, which were easy at 75 pounds, and then 8 burpees. So I don't know if I like unconsciously was just like, I don't want to do any more thrusters. But yeah, so I was just like, I hated this workout the whole time. And my strategy was to like step up. So I think I actually stepped down and stepped back up for the burpees. I don't know if that hurt me actually. That was my judge, so my coach, one of the coaches, did mention or did recommend stepping for the burpees. So maybe stepping up, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But like, so I did step down and back up. And I have been having some issues with my right hip, with hip flexion. So bringing my knee up. So that did bother it. So I don't know if I would have been better off just jumping back and stepping up during those 8 burpees, because it was like, I don't know, like how many seconds, less than a minute or something. I did like try to go a little bit faster for those last burpees. So I did jump back and step up. And so I feel like I probably would have been fine if I'd done that for the whole workout, but I don't know. Either way, I didn't care. I didn't care anymore. I feel like this was the first time that I was just like, I don't want to do this workout. Like, I could have just skipped this whole workout. But I still had a little bit of pride. I was like, okay, I'll do the workout. But yeah, so that is I feel like that's a consequence, or one of the downsides of not having any pressure, or like not having any expectations for this open, is that like for this last one, I just checked out and I was like, I'm not even going to try because I hate this workout. I hated it on paper. I hated it when I was doing it. But yeah, so that was the third workout, and then that was the open. So yeah, I went down the leaderboard after this one. So I think I ended up finishing like in the 54th percentile. I guess I should have written this down on my notes. 59th percentile. Okay, better than 54th. But yeah, I went down a little bit. So finished 59th percentile in the world. I think it was like a little bit higher for North America or North America West. Are we still, I don't know. That shows you how much I'm following CrossFit nowadays. But yeah, not too bad. I feel like it's above 50. Not too bad for not really focusing on CrossFit for the last year. So I would say I'm pretty happy with my performance. And like, I guess there were some things that I could have done better, like pushed harder maybe, but at the same time, like, for what I've been doing over the last year, what I've been focusing on, like, again, I feel like I did, pretty good. considering I've been focusing more on like swim, bike, run, and then mostly running, because again, for high rocks with running, and then just more endurance, I guess, and less like trying to move heavier weights or heavier load. And so my fitness in that regard, so my cardio has definitely been really good. Endurance has been good, but it's just the moving loads under fatigue or heavier loads under fatigue. It definitely has taken a hit. I'm definitely not as fit in that regard as I was, I would say 3 years ago, because 2 years ago when I did the Open, I was pregnant. So, so that was another story. Like I guess I can sort of do a recap on that, but, in the future, I don't know. If you want me to do a recap on that, let me know. You can email me, but yeah, I felt like I wanted to throw up the whole time 2 years ago. But 3 years ago, I feel like, or actually I was at my best. I was at like higher, like almost close to 80th percentile for 2019. So that was my first year of PT school, when I had a lot more time to work out. But yeah, compared to that, obviously I'm less fit, but overall, like if I'm looking at different parameters, I feel like I'm the same fitness level. It's just, some areas are better than they were before, and some areas are a little worse than they were before. So yeah. So that was my recap of this year's Open. That's kind of it. I don't really have anything else to say about it. So hope you enjoyed this recap, this bonus episode, and I will see you in the next conversation.